The other big thing that happened last night was Richie Hogan spoke.
Yeah.
In the aftermath of his red card. We have a clip. We have a clip of Richie Hogan, which I'll play you now. While we do that, I'll clear my throat. Have a look.
I watched it back there. This morning, obviously, I stayed away from it earlier on, but I mean, I was going in for a shoulder on Cathal Barrett, and he sidestepped inside, and my momentum kind of took me through. In my opinion, there's absolutely no way it was a sending off, but I suppose that's the way these things go. I mean, sometimes those decisions go for you, and sometimes they go against. And it was one of those things for me.
Yeah, he's pretty raw. He's pretty philosophical about the whole thing. Philosophical about the aftermath of it, but definitely did not think that it was a red card. I don't agree with him. I think that it was a red card. I think that the Cathal Barrett challenge definitely deserves something. The difficulty here is that it's not about intent; it's about outcome. The referee's on outcome, not intent. You might not mean to lift your shoulder then it becomes an elbow because they're connected, and you don't mean to do that. It happens because of the movement of everybody.
But it happens because in the throws of battle as well. I fully believe that Richie Hogan feels like it wasn't a red card. There's no doubt that Richie didn't mean to do Cathal Barrett. You know, it's such a fast game.
He really meant to kill him with the shoulder.
Nail him.
Yeah.
But God, it's an All-Ireland tournament final. You got it.
And you're supposed to do that.
You got it. And Cathal Barrett had been leaving it on a number of Kilkenny players. And Cathal Barrett is that kind of defender. So if you have a chance to put Cathal Barrett over the line, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's just that I think maybe Richie's frustrations come from the fact that hurling is a game of blood and thunder, and it's all about flaking and flying. And now, games change, and that has been. That element of hurling has probably been reduced a good bit over the last number of years. But Richie Hogan got nailed in the All-Ireland semi-final. Richie Hogan got nailed 15 minutes beforehand in the All-Ireland final. And there's probably an element of where's the consistency here.
The Cork game as well.
It was great that he spoke last night. That was a 30-minute interview, and I know there's the chat about the red card, but there's also really good stuff about the fact that he had quite a tough year this year with injuries. He had quite a tough year working his way back into Cody's setup. The fact that he did his medial ligaments against Limerick and he didn't train at all since, and he's still lining out in an All-Ireland final. It's just testament to how unbelievable a player he is. I was warming up yesterday for training, listening to that interview last night. I'd say everybody had it on last night. I had my earphones in. The lads were asking, what are you doing?
You were doing your two-hour warm-up, just like Richie Hogan.
Yeah.
John Duggan, good morning to you.
How are you, Jar and Tommy? Morning.
John.
You did a 2-hour warm-up as well?
No, I was sleeping.
John does a warm-up every morning at 4 a.m. for the shift.
So I heard the interview. The first thing I did this morning is listen to it, compelling stuff. Offtheball.com, straight the main story exclusive there this morning. You can also get on the Go Loud app. And he's just, Richie's probably, it hasn't sunk in for him is what I felt when listening to it. Hasn't sunk in that he got sent off in a hurling final. And he just came out and defended himself. And there's obviously huge integrity there about that it wasn't intentional from his perspective, that he believes Tipperary shouldn't have any glory taken away from them. He doesn't want to ever speak about it again.
Yeah, that's all fair enough.
But there is a little bit of, I've kind of felt that it hasn't sunk in for him. And the reason why I feel that is because he's saying that he's amazed and he's astounded and it wasn't an elbow. But from what I saw, the pictures-wise, didn't exactly correlate with that in the lightning quick nature of the collision.
Yeah, I think though, John, that sometimes in those tackles that can happen. The nature of what he was doing, he was going to hit a lot of shoulder at 60 miles an hour.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. And that was the intention. But it still was a case that the elbow struck the face guard, wasn't it?
Well, it was higher up in the end. It wasn't necessarily the elbow that hit it. But listen, we're talking about degrees here. We're talking
that's the thing.
And inches.
And the issue really is that he made the point that the fourth camera angle is the one that you're nailing me on here. But come on, lads, and because when I was at the game, couldn't see what happened, didn't know what happened, was looking for a GIF, and then somebody sent me the RTE GIF, and in real time it looks like nothing. It does look like a dive, right? It looks like a complete, my legs have come back out. And then, you see Cathal Barrett the next day, and there's still blood on his mouth because of it. And, it clearly wasn't a dive, and then you see what happens. But, I think that I have a lot of sympathy for Richie Hogan, and I have a lot of respect for Richie Hogan for everything he's ever done, but also for coming out and facing and saying, look, this is what happened, and this is my experience of what happened. And I don't think he's ever going to change that experience. I don't think that he's going to watch it again and go, oh yeah, you're right, I did actually lift my elbow. And he'll forever feel he's unjustly treated.
He's an amateur player. It's the biggest day. Even if he's had big days before, it's still the biggest day of his year. And it's a hurling final. Of course you're going to be, there's a grief process going on for him.
Yeah, I think Joe said people aren't going to remember this as the final that Richie Hogan got sent off. They're going to remember for Tipperary's performance. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that actually everybody's always going to remember this is the game that hinged on Richie Hogan getting sent off, and we'll never know what it would have been like to see this Kilkenny team. You know, the last throw of that Kilkenny team with TJ and Richie and Paul Murphy, like. What could they have done over 75 minutes?
I think you're right about the final, but I don't think Richie Hogan's career will be defined by this.
Not his career, no. He's a hurler of the year. He's one of the great hurlers of... Like, he's potentially in Kilkenny's greatest team of all time, and he's potentially...
Absolutely.
I mean, there's stiff competition.
He's thereabouts.
He absolutely is.
But, like, I felt actually... Like, I know you're saying sympathy for Richie Hogan last night. I didn't expect anything else from him when he came out and he defended himself, because I've been in moments in games before where afterwards you're being told something happened, you're like, that's not how I saw it. That's not how I intended when I did it.
Yeah.
There's split seconds, a moment, and he said it himself. Look at the reaction online. There's interpretation of these things, and I know people can be blinded and they can just see their own county colours, but like, with that, he just caught him wrong. It was a red card.
This is a good debate, though. This is a debate about your view or your kind of perspective on it. It's not a debate. There's no outrage in this debate, which I think is a good thing. It is just a debate of lots of kind of strands, replays, the nature of hurling, and as you said, the blood and thunder nature of it, the video technology aspect of it. It is a highbrow debate, as I would say, about a big issue. It's not an outrage. It's not you're a disgrace, you're this, you're that. It's actually an interesting debate to kind of shape how we view the game going forward, like video technology, all that kind of thing, and where the edge is in hurling.
Referee consistency, I would say, is the thing. So James O'Connor made a great point on the show on Monday night. He was talking about the red card, and he was saying that he felt that there was an incident in the semi-final. Killian Buckley caught Will O'Donoghue with a high elbow, and Alan Kelly issued him with a yellow.
Yeah.
Right? And Jamesy was like, no doubt, all the referees were communicated with afterwards. Lads, an elbow to the head, it's a red card. Your job is to issue a red card. And I've no doubt that, I don't know which of the linesmen it was, but they're all highly qualified referees as well, who obviously are getting the same diktat from the head of the referees, who is like, elbow to the head, we were all in the meeting, James, that's a red.
Do you know that meeting, right? And do you know how that's been communicated to the referees? Brilliant, no problem. But I'm wondering, like, is that being communicated to the players?
Maybe.
Because Richie Hogan was surprised he was getting a yellow card.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, Richie Hogan's face when James Owens is talking to him and he's saying, look, taking his time, he's chatting to him, and Richie's like, come on now, I caught him late, but it's not a yellow card, I didn't try and do him. Next thing he pulls out the red card, and Richie's shocked. So, like, I'm not sure is that being communicated to the players. There's a lot of ambiguity about this high tackle rule. There's a lot of ambiguity about how you can actually tackle in hurling full stop. Like, we've seen in rugby how they've had to change their game completely. Like the manner in which they tackle, the manner in which they coach the tackle, the manner in which they attempt to tackle. Like,
do we need to have a Kalina-style referees briefing before finals?
That's made public.
Yeah, that we have a press conference, say, next Wednesday for the football final with David Goff.
Are you sure you want to go there?
No, but it doesn't matter who the referee is, and say, look, these are the things we are now going to concentrate on more than we would have for the 2019 paradigm of a final.
I don't think you need a press conference. I think you need to just issue these are the following incidents, and like the issue is that you're giving out to the referees, right? So it's criticism, it's internal referee criticism.
Yeah,
this was a yellow card, it should have been a red. Alan Kelly has been prevented from refereeing a big game, like, because that shouldn't happen either, right?
We also know that the referees aren't allowed to come out and speak after a decision. They're not allowed to come out and say, this happened or this happened. Like, sometimes that might maybe cut away a lot of the debate as well.
Yeah, I missed that.
I missed it, like David Goff did it back in 2017, 6 months after the Kerry incident. He put his hands up and he said, I missed it, and it's a human error.
Yeah.
But like, I actually think James Owen got it nailed on, and he used his officials to get it right as well.
Shane Dowling said Alan Kelly did exactly the same thing to him in a private capacity, and I'm sure Alan Kelly was delighted that Shane Dowling went on off the ball and told everybody about it.
Where did they meet? The Galway races, was that it? Yeah.
You meet funny people at the Galway races.
Oh, you do, definitely do. But one of the major problems is with hurling and refereeing in GA is interpretation. Like, every championship game you have at home is like, who's the referee? And you're trying to find out how he deals with a game. When
you're not be the same in soccer, though.
But is there not
professional soccer?
There's not less interpretation in soccer. You know what a foul is. You know what offside is. You know what this is. Like, there's so much ambiguity around tackling and hurling, especially.
I mean, I think that the point you're making at rugby is very interesting, right? Because rugby, you used to get up after concussion, come back on, and everybody go, yeah, come on, you're class. And there's still that machismo within the GAA world where you now should be told that if your shoulder is wrong and it's straight to the front or it touches any part of the head, it's a red card. And suddenly you don't see as much shouldering anymore, but the skills of the game improve. And you've got to balance that trade-off between long-term player health. Like, you can't have shoulders to the head.
No.
You can't have elbows or shoulders to the head in any game. You can't have it in club matches this weekend. They have to be straight reds all day long, irrespective of what the intention was.
Yeah.
For player safety. Like, we're talking...
You can get a concussion from a shoulder. Like, in the GAA, you can, from a collision like that.
You can, right? But very rarely, right? You're far more likely to get a concussion from a shoulder to the head.
If the shoulder's timed well and you nail a fella when he's moving.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, so I can remember one that I can think of in a club game in Dublin that, like, I can't remember any more other than that.
I saw one on Saturday. You could hear it from the other side of the pitch.
The concussion.
Definitely, it was a concussion. 100%.
Well, okay, I'm glad Dr. Tommy was there with his little medical case and his MRI scan. But anyway, you know the point I'm making,
yes, I do,
right?
Yeah.
Like, that's fair enough. Everybody goes in knowing that's a potential outcome. But nobody's going in thinking, I need to protect my head here because I have an unprotected head and I'm going to get an elbow. And that's about, like, changing behaviours and making sure that players feel safe, and that's about us all wanting everybody to play these sports because they're great sports. And ultimately, you've got to weigh the pain and difficulties that Richie Hogan and Kilkenny are having at the minute versus the well-being of the rest of the sport. And that's the balance, and that's why it's a red card all day long. And you can't not have it be a red card.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a process as well. The GAA is improving in that regard. Like, you only have to look at the fact that players know that the only way they can get a game stopped is if they let on it as a head injury. And you're starting to see that seep in a little bit to the GAA as well.
The cheating.
Hold your head. Like, you're starting to see that. So, players are aware that if they want the game stopped or they want to stop a bit of momentum, they've got to hold their head.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not great.
Well,
that's the worst aspects of soccer coming into the game, isn't it?
I'm just saying that they're getting more around concussion.